Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. As per usual, this is a hybrid meeting. Should anything go wrong technically, we will continue in this room, and the tape will be on view on television after the fact. Minutes for 2/18 and March 4th. We have them both, Mike?
Just 2/18.
Just 2/18, yeah. Did anyone have any edits or changes or comments? I move to approve the minutes for February 18th as written. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, first order of business is 17 Constitution Road. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, to consider the request for determination of applicability filed for 17 Constitution Road, and the hearing officer is Commissioner Lake.
Thank you, Craig. Mike, have all the administrative requirements been set?
Yes, all administrative requirements have been met.
Okay. Is there anyone here, or anyone on Zoom to present this project?
I don't see Mr. Penigraphy on here, but I have worked with him
Okay.
on the RDA and filling it out and everything. So he would like to replace the driveways and this little parking area in front of his home. Currently, on the left side and in front of the house is asphalt. And then this small driveway to the right-hand side is gravel. So overall, the replacement of this impervious asphalt to the pervious paver design as specified in his RDA would be an improvement to the area. It would be taking up a considerable amount of impervious area on the property now and replacing it with something pervious.
I agree, it would be an improvement. Do any of the commissioners have any comments? No.
Nope.
Anyone in the public or on Zoom have any comment? Mike, do you have any special conditions?
Yeah, I would suggest the following special conditions to ensure best management practices are followed before commencing the work, obtain all pertinent permits, and to see myself or the agent for guidance on conservation work beyond the scope of this permit.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing and issue a determination of applicability with a +5 and a -2, including the special conditions noted by Mike. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. Next up is ecological restoration on Damon's Point Road and Maycomer's Way. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, to consider the notice of intent filed for 14 Damon's Point and 1 Maycomer Way. What is the DEP number on that, Mike?
This DEP number is SE 42 3176.
76.
3,176.
Okay. The hearing officer is Vice Chair Malafronte.
Mike, can you confirm all administrative requirements have been met?
Yes, all administrative requirements have been met.
So this project is located in a salt marsh and riverfront to Maycomer's Creek. And it was filed, as Craig mentioned, as an ecological restoration project. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom that is here to represent the applicant?
Hi, my name's Margaret O'Brien. I'm on Zoom and I'm here to represent the applicant.
Okay, if you don't mind just taking us through what the project entails, and then if we have any questions, we'll ask them.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I'm representing the applicants Brendan McCarthy of 14 Damon's Point Road and Todd Bruner of 1 McCombers Way, who are looking to manage a patch of Phragmites. The area in question the applicants are looking to manage is an approximate 0.21 acre patch located along the shared boundary of 14 Damon Points Road and 1 McCombers Way, and the area, as you mentioned, borders McCombers Creek. For those not familiar, Phragmites is designated as an invasive plant and is listed under the Massachusetts prohibited plant list. It's an aggressive wetland invader. It can grow up to 16 feet high, form dense monocultures. They block sunlight from penetrating through, making it difficult for other plants, particularly native species, to grow. The dense plant growth and dense mats of rhizomes or root systems beneath the ground limits growing space for other species as well. So this dense monolithic growth of Phragmites is harmful in that it's currently displacing native vegetation. Studies have shown that by removing dense stands of Phragmites, you can create higher species diversity and a more even species composition. Therefore, it's prudent that management actions developed for this area address the dense invasive Phragmites in order to restore the habitat of the wetland and facilitate recolonization of native vegetation. So for our management approach, because this species needs to be managed over the long term, the applicant is proposing a management schedule of at least 3 years. Our management plan consists of herbicide applications in the fall. The proposed herbicide is Clearcast. This is a systematic herbicide which is taken up by the plant's foliage and brought to the meristematic tissues, or areas of growth in the plant, where it disrupts the cell growth, causing the plant to slowly die off. The herbicide application is targeted for the fall time when the plant is actively taking up nutrients. Clearcast has been approved for use by the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, MassDP, EPA, and has safely been implemented for use in other wetland and aquatic areas within Massachusetts. Because this patch is quite small, the herbicide will be applied using a hand-pumped backpack sprayer or wetted glove method for a more targeted approach. And I want to note that vegetation will not be mowed or removed from the area. There's no excavation or uprooting of vegetation proposed. If any trees or shrubs that are located within the treatment area, they'll be avoided in the hopes that they will then naturally repopulate that area. If needed, a native replanting can be applied in the 2nd or 3rd season to facilitate the return of beneficial native vegetation. However, in other projects where we've done this, we've already seen native vegetation naturally repopulate the other treated areas without the needs for replanting. This project has already been approved by several groups. It was reviewed by the North River Commission on February 26th and was determined as allowed use. And then it was also, this project is within the vicinity of American eel habitat, so it was reviewed by the Division of Marine Fisheries. And they issued their conclusion to the Concom stating that if work is to occur within the fall time of year restriction, which is September 15th to October 30th, they ask that barriers be placed around the management area, which we intend to comply with, or either just conduct the treatment outside of the time of year restriction. So in conclusion, this is a long-term problem that will require ongoing maintenance. Phragmites is a problematic invasive species. By removing it from the area, we will be restoring the habitat, increasing native growth in the area, and promoting an opportunity for native species to regrow. And then I also want to address one thing that Mike brought up prior to this hearing, is that we have used a past wetland delineation as shown here, and MassDP wetland data for our filing. We are asking that the commission approve a variance for using this existing wetland information rather than requesting an updated wetland delineation. The work as it stands almost entirely is proposed within the salt marsh, so an updated delineation would not likely lessen the resource area impacts, and hopefully this will just make it more cost effective for the applicant who's trying to get rid of an invasive species here. So thank you for your time, and I will now open it up to questions.
Thank you. I was on site this morning, and I spoke with the gentleman at 1 Macomers, he informed me that he was part of the application because some of this does extend onto his property, but it's mainly 14 Damon's Point that a lot of the work is taking place on. But I will say the invasive, from what I could see out there, it has encroached significantly since this 2021 plan. And that's pretty evident out there by the conservation markers that were placed on the 25 no disturb. And Mike, if you have that, yeah.
You can see one of the markers.
Yeah, it's
My cursor.
kind of a little bit to the, kind of right, yeah, right near his cursor, but, I don't have an issue, with this entirely. I know there was some conversations back and forth regarding the wetland delineation. As Mike mentioned, all this work is basically within the salt marsh, or not basically, it is within the salt marsh. So a new delineation doesn't really, I'm not sure it provides too much value, but I'd be open to hear what the commission has to say on that, or if anyone else has any questions or comments.
I just had a question about the Phragmites. I think I'm correct. There's two separate, there's a non-invasive Phragmites and then an invasive. One's native and one's not, correct? And this is definitely the invasive species?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And then another thing that was brought up also is, Mike identified when he did a site visit, that there is quite a bit of Japanese knotwood on the adjoining property, which I believe is one Maycomber's. It's kind of to the, beyond this photo that Mike's showing here. It's kind of along that hillside, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's actually, I believe there is some on that hillside. There's also some in the forefront here.
Oh, okay.
Where my cursor is. It seems that the Japanese knotweed and the Phragmites are kind of
Intertwined.
fighting over this boundary here.
Yeah, I was just curious if that's something that's going to be addressed as well, or is that going to be just the Phragmites at this point?
I think the intent of the application was to address the Phragmites.
Okay.
But if the commission's willing to approve Japanese knotweed as well, that wouldn't hurt.
I don't have an issue. I think if you're going in there to do the work, it probably makes sense to get rid of all the invasive species you can, which probably expands your scope and area a little bit. But like I said, I don't really have an issue with this. I think it's for the betterment of the salt marsh. So, I don't know if anyone else has any comments or
I
questions.
just have another question. So I'm just curious, so the application's gonna be a broad spray to this particular area, correct?
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily call it a broad spray,
Well-
but yeah, it's a backpack spray, so it's a little bit more targeted than just,
But it's to the surface of the plant?
yes,
The
that's
oak.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the intent is to spray like the standing vegetation.
Mhm. And so when I had done some of this is a long time ago though, and I'm not an expert, but we did injections on every single plant, and it's a pain, but we went in and that's what we had to do under the permit that we had, was go in and inject every individual plant. Is that something that would be, that you could do here? I realize this is a big area and a lot of plants. Or is that not something that you guys do?
Well, there is like a wetted glove method, which I'm not sure if that's the more like targeted for individual plants method that can be used if there's just like a single stand or two to target those specific plants growing. But in general, the plan is to use a backpack sprayer, just because this is not a huge area, but definitely a little bit larger than doing single injections for each stalk.
Okay, I was just curious. We had a very large stand of knotweed. It was knotweed, so this is a different plant, but I think they're treated similarly.
I think knotweed is,
It's hollow.
it's hollow. You
So
cut
it-
the stem and
yeah.
inject
So
straight
maybe it
into
would
it.
be it's a
So
totally
I think it
different
would be probably more beneficial on knotweed, although, yeah, I am not an expert either.
Yeah.
But
Just curious if that was given any consideration, that's all.
I have a couple of questions. The work is going to be done by a Massachusetts licensed applicator, but the treatment contractor is from Brookfield, Connecticut. I assume they have a Massachusetts license?
Yep, that's correct. And they're also there are a few other projects along the North River that we've worked with them in Pembroke and Norwell, so they're doing those projects as well. So
Okay.
yes, they do a lot of work in Massachusetts, so they're certified.
And looking at the labeling, I'm just curious, it's on page 6 and 7, it's on page 7, where you get to Phragmites, and everything has a foliar rate except the Phragmites. Can you shed light on why the label is done that way?
Can you clarify what you mean by
Yeah.
label?
You have the product label as part of the application.
The SDS at the end?
It's the last attachment, attachment C. And if you go to page 7 of attachment C, you find that this is the only reference to Phragmites. All of the other plant sections do not include it. But it is here, and instead of having a foliar rate, there's a note: use 1 quart/A methylated seed oil, apply in late vegetative stage up to killing frost, also use spot treatment, blah, 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 blah. I just wondered why it's different from everything else.
Yeah, that's a good question. To clarify, I'm not the treatment contractor, so.
Right, okay.
This would not be my area of expertise. I would definitely defer to them for this type of question. But obviously they're very familiar with using this product. I believe the methylated seed oil is like a surfactant that helps it stick to the frag. So I don't know if that's specific to the frag to just help with that application. But yeah, honestly, I'm not quite sure why the foliar rate is an empty cell in that table.
Yeah, okay, I it's not a big deal, I just found it interesting. Often, I believe you need to do follow-up applications, and this may be the purview of the applicator also, but I'm just wondering what the history is of needing follow-up applications.
Yeah, follow-up is definitely something that's proposed here. As I mentioned, I think we had a 3-year kind of timeline. This is a smaller stand, so oftentimes, and with the past projects that we've been doing, we've been seeing kind of immediate effects within the first year, but it is proposed to kind of come back the 2nd or 3rd year as needed to do follow-up to continue to maintain this until the Phragmites is gone and native vegetation can start to refill.
So, do you intend to add any native vegetation, or let it happen naturally?
The intent is to let it happen naturally. Again, in these other projects that they've been doing along the North River, they have had a lot of success with that happening, with native vegetation coming through. But we did mention in our application that if that is not successful or is for some reason not repopulating naturally, we propose a replanting or a seed mix as needed to help that area regrow.
Okay, yeah, I'm just thinking if there's Japanese knotweed adjacent, that could become even more aggressive and move in on the Phragmites areas. So if you can hit the Japanese knotweed, I think that would be all to the good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And the final thing, we don't, the site plan that we're using, I don't have a problem with not getting a new wetland delineation, but we don't really have anything that maps the Phragmites. There's
So
one-
There was a figure included.
There's a figure, but it's on,
I believe it's on page 59 of the I don't know.
It's the color, the color photo with the red ring.
Yeah, so that's the red area kind of shows the approximate area based on,
Yeah, I don't know, do you think, Mike, everybody else, is there any value to getting that put on the plan, the other plan we have, so that we can,
Maybe so when we go back and look at
and look at it, we know what we were working with?
Yep.
Would it be possible to take this survey and plan from Morse Engineering and put it on an aerial and then delineate that limit, basically the red limit that you have shown on that figure, just so it's a little more clear from a, it's tough, I think what the issue is, it's with the hatching that's on that figure, it's difficult to really see even where the salt marsh is or where the trees are. At least in the printout version. It might be more clear in the PDF, but do you think that's feasible? You could kind of overlay this plan onto an aerial and kind of delineate that limit?
Yeah, so to confirm, you want to take the proposed area of treatment and just have an aerial in the background that you can see, or you want to use you want to put it on the Morse engineering plan? I'm sorry.
Combination of all three, yeah.
Okay.
So I want to put
yes.
I want to overlay the Morse engineering plan onto an aerial. And I understand that it won't be 100% accurate and it will be approximate because of the location. And then delineate that limit of work or the approximate limit of work on that figure.
Well, so our figure 2 already kind of used the wetland lines in the Morse engineering. And so those are the lines shown in that figure already.
But that doesn't show us where the Phragmites are relative to this map.
Okay, yeah.
We need,
guess
I think
I'll
we
have to
need some
consult-
kind of reference so that,
Actually,
as we go through
the hard
this.
copy looks better than looking at it online.
Oh, it
To me,
does?
to me, it's pretty clear. It's within that red circle, right?
Yeah, I think Craig's just saying from,
Yeah, but, I mean, we look at
to like look at
this,
it from here.
and then
Like where, I
you
think it's
go,
over here, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh, okay, I see.
just so that we have something to go back and compare it to and
Yeah.
see. If that can be done, I think that would be helpful. It's like, get this red delineated area superimposed
on that.
on the Morse plan.
Yeah, no, I can definitely work to get a different visual for you guys. I'll have to consult with our GIS team when it comes to superimposing this engineering over an aerial
Yeah, no, I
imagery.
understand, but, that gives us a total site plan where everything is and where the Phragmites are.
Sure, yeah, I can work to get that to you guys.
Okay.
I had a couple things. First of all, the wetland delineation, I think we're okay with that. I agree with you. That was actually brought in reference to around that area, Maycombers Ridge and that area, when somebody tried to say a wetland delineation was good forever, when, in a time of rising seas, it's changing. But in this case, I think it's fine. The other question I had, if you're doing this treatment in the fall, that's right when we always call the tassels, the seeds on top, that's when they're mature and ripe. Will this treatment kill off the seeds?
Yeah, so basically what happens is the herbicide, it gets applied on the surface of the plant, and then in the fall is really when the plant's kind of taking in all of its nutrients and like pulling it in for winter storage. And so then that's the optimal time where it's pulling in that herbicide with it, so it kind of like kills the plant from within. So oftentimes it may not visually look like there's much difference. It might just look like, oh, these plants died over the winter and then just never really grew back. So that's kind of the process there.
What you're saying.
Yeah, my question is if it kills off the seeds, or if they're still, are they viable to reseed?
No, I don't believe they're viable to reseed, and this helps kill off like the spread through the rhizome system is the issue too, with that going so deep. So this helps to really kill off that portion of the plant as well.
And then just that rhizome will just deteriorate over time?
Yeah, we're not proposing any kind of removal or anything. It's just, it'll naturally kind of die, decompose, and native vegetation will come back.
That's the theory.
That's all I have, thank you.
I'm good.
Okay,
Anyone in the public or on Zoom that has any comments or questions? Hearing none. Do you think it's possible to, or Mike, would everyone feel comfortable closing and issuing if we can get that plan in a timely manner?
Yeah, I think contingent on the revised site plan would be fine.
Okay. So as long as we could get that updated figure by end of week,
Friday would be preferable.
Friday, if that's possible, we'd be comfortable closing and issuing. Is that feasible from your end?
Yeah, that should be feasible.
Okay. All right, with that, Mike, do you have any special conditions?
Yes, I would suggest the following special conditions. General conditions 1 through 18, which are standard special conditions. Prior to construction, conditions 5 and 2 to have a pre-construction meeting and stake out the site. During construction, condition 11 during work, condition 11, ensure best management practices are followed. After the work, condition 1, to file for a certificate of compliance within 30 days. And also, COIR logs should be used during the time of year restrictions noted by the Department of Marine Fisheries.
Okay. With that, with Mike's special conditions, I'd like to make a motion to close the public.
Possibly, I know it's in the application, but should we have it as a condition that it has to be a
Read this.
licensed applicator?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
I'm sorry, did you already have that in there, Mike?
No, that was a good addition. Thank you.
Okay, with that, with Mike's special conditions that he outlined, and then Bert's additional condition regarding the application being performed by a certified applicator, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions contingent that we do receive a site plan by end of week to Mike. Can I have a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it's a success.
Awesome, thank you, everyone.
Okay, next up is 12 Careswell Street. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, to consider the notice of intent for construction at a pier at 12 Careswell Street.
I have it all ready.
And the
There's also.
hearing officer is Vice Chair Malafronte. And
Thank you.
just before we start, could you give me the number, Mike?
There is no number issued yet on this project. So the hearing can open and discussion may occur, but the permit cannot be issued today without a DEP number.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Craig. Mike, can you confirm all administrative requirements have been met?
Aside from the DEP number, yes, all administrative requirements have been met.
Okay, and it looks like we have some folks here to introduce the project.
Colin Bono of 12 Careswell Street.
I'm Freeman Boynton of Duxbury Construction.
And Jamie Buchanan Medea, representing the applicant. Nice to meet you all, and thank you for your service.
Thanks. You guys can kind of take it away.
Sure. Mike, would it be possible?
Yep, I will cue that up right now.
Just got a slideshow that hopefully answers everything that could be answered. Yeah, you just want to continue? So the project overview, construction of a residential pier, gangway ramp, and one 200-square-foot float. Duxbury Construction was chosen for this modest project because of their expertise with compliance with the resource area protections. Pier walkway is approximately 258 feet long with a configuration that is in a straight line along the property lines to the gangway and float. In order to achieve this dock configuration, we're requesting a dredge of approximately 90 cubic yards of material. This new dock and dredging area will require a Chapter 91 waterways permit and license, but it will not require a water quality survey. I can explain that later. Dock configuration closely conforms to the requirements of the Conservation Commission and will protect the existing eroding marsh banks. The improvement dredging will allow the float to have proper depth for berthing. We are requesting that the dock be located closer to the southerly property line so that it is more centrally located to reduce impact on the marsh, on the bank of the marsh, excuse me. We are currently seeking Zoning Board of Appeals approval to modify our existing special permit to accommodate the dredging. And then these just go through all the Marshfield performance standards for the docks. Most of them were kind of just, but no pier is currently located on my property, so this would be the one and only. The proposed pier platform extends approximately 13 feet from the edge of the salt marsh resource area. A 36-foot gangway and 10 by 20-foot float are oriented easterly beyond pier platform. The proposed pier is about 250 feet from a federal channel. At the outermost portion of the dock, after dredging, a 3-foot depth will be achieved, establishing an 83-to-1 setback, more than the 4-to-1. The main structure is habited, that takes care of the occupancy permit piece. It will conform, pier construction will be properly permitted and conform to all the provisions of these regulations. This piece is not applicable to the neighboring lot. Proposed pier terminates approximately 250 feet from the federal channel while only extending 50 feet total from shore. Dredging is being proposed to minimize the length versus prior configuration that I had that required a longer pier to attain the minimum depth at low tide. Pier is located as centrally as possible and projects perpendicular to the shoreline. So for this one, this is the only one that I am asking for relief of. So we're requesting that the dock be located closer to the southerly property line so that it is more centrally located within the marsh landform and will have less impact on the bank of the marsh or exacerbate any existing bank erosion conditions on the northerly bank. We feel that this waiver from performance standard is in the interest of the Wetlands Protection Regulation. In this particular case, the setback from a property line has no factual relationship to the interest subject to the protection under the Act. This proposal minimizes, to the maximum extent possible, any contact with the salt marsh resource area. By locating the pier centrally, it provides a greater ability for the marsh to reestablish once the minor impact of construction is complete, which is immensely better for the resource area. Further away from the more fragile northerly boundary of the salt marsh the pier is located, The less repeat damaging effect will take place by moving traffic away from that area. And then in your Performance Standard 20, it asks that the pile placement keep bank integrity, which this placement does. DEP permit number will be displayed permanently and conspicuously on the dock visible from the channel. Off-season storage will be located above the mean high water mark and salt marsh line. Float will be marked on all four corners. Your blank spacing will be 1 inch. Height above the marsh at mean high water is 8.7 feet, never dipping below 5 feet over the resource area. Pier width is 4 feet, so that is approximately a 1 to 2.2 ratio. Decking is 48 inches. Float is 200 square feet. In this instance, the T shape is not practicable for this site, so a rectangle is proposed. Damage to any resource area shall be replicated at the discretion of this commission. Float stops are not proposed on this plan. No high wattage lighting will be utilized. No lifts, elevators, or davits are proposed. Proposed floats have 3-foot depths at all corners, which will be achieved by dredging. Tidal velocity in this area is low to moderate, so an anchor and chain method, which you ask is the preferred method, so that is what we're proposing. All piles are shown on plan. Orientation of the pier is situated to avoid fracturing of bank as explained in E8. This one is the one I referred to before. The depths will be achieved by dredging 90 cubic feet of material, so that gives me 3 feet at all four corners. Proposed plan does not impede the use of an existing channel, navigable waterway, boat mooring, public ramp, or landing. Piles will be driven. All material will conform to the requirement. Again, all materials will conform to this requirement. The pier will only be constructed once all permits are obtained. Proposed plan is not located in a blind canal, tidal creek, or is an obstruction of navigable waters. The shellfish fee will be paid. Harbor Master DeMayo has been contacted on this project. No fuel, oil, hazmat will be stored anywhere on the pier structure. Proposed project is not located in the Cut River. And then for the Massachusetts standards, let's go through them next. So in regards to land under ocean, the proposed project consists of a pile-supported pier extending to a floating dock. The pier piles create minimal bottom disturbance and will not impede any water circulation. The floating dock will be secured by concrete anchors and chains that rest on the substrate and create only a small localized contact areas at the bottom. The anchor system will be appropriately sized for the float and water depth, and the chain lengths will be limited to minimize movement and prevent significant dragging across the substrate. The proposed dredging of approximately 90 cubic yards is distributed across roughly 1,200 square feet with an average removal depth that is approximately 3 feet to provide safe navigational access at low tide. This limited and shallow disturbance will not impair water circulation, marine productivity, or wildlife habitat. Land subject to tidal action. The proposed dock consists of an open pile-supported pier extending to a floating dock. No fill is proposed within the resource area. The structure will not restrict tidal flow or alter tidal exchange, and therefore will not impair marine productivity or the natural movement of tidal waters. Coastal bank. The project will not involve excavation or alteration of the coastal bank. Installation of pier piles will occur seaward of the bank. It will not affect bank stability or its function providing storm damage protection. Land containing shellfish. The project has been designed to minimize impacts to shellfish habitat. The pier is pile supported and therefore does not significantly disturb the bottom substrate. The floating dock will be secured with concrete anchors and chains that create minimal bottom contact. The dredging footprint is limited and shallow, and the dredged material will be disposed of upland. As a result, the disturbance to shellfish habitat will be minimal and temporary. And then land subject to coastal storm flowage. The proposed dock structure is pile supported and no fill will be placed within the flood zone. The project will not reduce the flood storage capacity, increase flood elevations, or otherwise increase storm damage. So dredging is required for this project. So I just wanted to put these pieces of information in here. So this is the Mass law that states that with the limited amount of dredging, that does not trigger a specific, a separate water quality certification. And this is the law that states that. So dredging less than 100 cubic feet, dredging and dredged material disposal of is less than 100 cubic yards, provided that the final order of conditions has been issued, you guys. And then this also says that it is not subject to a 404 permit from the Army Corps, so I'll address that next. So this is saying kind of the inverse, that these are the activities that would trigger a separate filing or a permit. Any activity subject to an individual 404 permit, which is in the next slide, and then dredging of 100 cubic yards or more, which this is not. So for the Army Corps of Engineer requirement, kind of a little bit of a circle where they say will require it if they do. So the 404 is just for dredged material that is to be discarded of within the waters of the United States, which this is upland disposal, so it doesn't trigger that. So, and they say, the Army Corps themselves say dredging of less than 100 cubic yards does not require an individual application. So in summation, for the dredging, the project involves the installation of a pile-supported residential dock and approximately 90 cubic yards of dredging to provide adequate depth and safe access at low tide. The work will be reviewed locally under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act through the Notice of Intent in this Commission's Order of Conditions. Because the dredging volume is below the 100 cubic yard threshold in 314 CMR 904, a separate water quality verification from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection is not triggered. The project will also be submitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for authorization under the Mass General Permit. The structure is pile supported with no fill placed in the resource area and minimal bottom disturbance, so the project is designed to meet the performance standards of the wetlands protection.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mike, do you mind pulling up the plan just as,
Yep.
and Mike, while this is pulling up, have we received comments back from the harbor master?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right,
So I'm having an issue opening up the site plan.
that's it, isn't it?
It was
yes,
there.
I can't zoom in on it though. When I try to open it, it tries to open it as a Google document. So it
Click the download button next to the three. Yeah,
that's actually a good idea.
it should download and you should be able to open it. All right. So one of the first comments I had on this, in the notice of intent, I was a little confused on the numbers in the alteration table. So land under the ocean, that's where you list the cubic yardage of
Sure.
dredge. The square footage, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but I'm confused how the square footage is only listed as 4.71 square feet.
I believe that's just the disturbance from the piles themselves, so that's the total square footage of the piles themselves.
Okay, all right, so the area of dredge is.
Correct.
I got you,
Yep.
okay. That makes more sense. I'm not sure if that is accurate on how that's supposed to be, but regardless, that makes more sense. I would feel more comfortable with that number, including the dredge area from a surface
Sure.
area standpoint.
Okay.
Just so it matches with the plan,
Yeah.
because I was looking at the plan and
Yeah.
it's, that was one thing that jumped out at me. I do understand the location of the walkway and the pier.
Sure.
From this site-specific standpoint, pushing it 25 feet off the property line does appear that it would probably have more impact. But I'll leave that to other commissioners to comment on as well. But yeah, for now, that's the only, I guess the other question and comment I had was regarding the float orientation. So what would, the T shape is preferred, what is preventing that from?
Just space, so the T shape you want me to, I can show you how, because the T shape, it's a triangle, so pushing it into the triangle, the T shape would be pushing it into that corner of the triangle, so if I could get it in there, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I just think it makes it very difficult to get it in there because it's a triangle.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? I hope
Yeah,
I'm
you're saying
explaining
so
that
the
right.
gangway is centered on the float, is that what?
The gangway centered on the float, correct.
Gotcha. So putting it as a T would push it further into the property, which I think was probably the intent
This
of
pushes it further out into the deeper water.
this one.
Correct.
Further into,
Into the- Yeah,
correct, what you're saying.
but I think the T would push
Yeah.
it away from the property line is,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I'll open it up to other commissioners on this. As Mike mentioned, there's no DEP file number for this, and we haven't received harbor master comments. And then I think likely a dock walk will be required.
Yes.
So I think for now, we can receive comments from commissioners or people in the public as well. Okay.
Few comments or questions. Should this be considered riverfront area as well, since it's the Green Harbor River?
With respect to, what would you, I suppose, what would that change?
It wouldn't change anything, but it would be just noted on the notice of intent that riverfront area is part of the application, and that also it would be shown on the plan, so just so we would have accurate
Okay.
information
I
about.
can show that on the plan if you would like me to.
There is a section of the notice of intent that does pertain to riverfront areas, but I don't think the performance standards are any different. We can look into that.
No, yeah, it should be checked off in the notice of intent.
If I may ask a question, hello again, this is Jamie Medea. Do you all consider this area to be riverfront area?
Green Harbor River.
If the location is within 200 feet of a
It
river,
is.
then yes.
It is within 200 feet of the waterway, yes. So if you consider it to be riverfront area, please consider it an oversight and the application will be amended. We don't want to dispute with you. If you want it to be riverfront area, we'll call it riverfront area. It does mean you need an alternatives analysis to explain why it has to go on the water, that's all.
Thank you, yeah, just if you could add that to the notice of intent and to the narrative and the plan. The other thing I was wondering about is the methods of construction. Do you know how you'll be constructing this? Like,
So the piles in the marsh will be pneumatic hammer driven.
do you have, like, machines going out on the marsh? Will they be using, like, temporary construction mats to minimize disturbance to the?
I think the equipment will be supported by the pilings that are first driven in, kind of work your way out, sitting on the pier itself. No equipment will be on the marsh.
Okay.
And then the ones out in the river will be driven from a barge.
Okay. And then third, do you propose to use any sediment and erosion controls?
Excuse me?
Like sediment and erosion control?
I don't believe it's necessary for this project. I'm not gonna dig any holes or disturb any sediment other than the dredging.
Okay. Just wanted to ask.
Will the fill be taken off-site?
Yes, offsite, upland disposal.
What is the water frontage of the lot?
50 feet,
50 feet.
yes.
So you're proposing a 258.1 inch pier. Our bylaw, 505-304.1E1 says no dock or pier shall extend further from the shore, mean high water mark, than a point equal to 1/2 of the lot's water frontage, measured as a straight line between the lot's waterfront corner. So that would require a variance.
Okay, I understood that, or I interpreted that as not the full length of that, because I think some of that's above mean high. I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying that's
Yeah,
why.
no,
because it's
I mean, if
mean
you
high.
have 50 feet,
Yeah.
under that, you're allowed a 25-foot pier.
Okay. I-
So that needs a variance.
Okay.
Am I,
Yeah, I had questions along the same line. Number one is, point out exactly where the mean high water line is.
Yeah.
It's a little.
On your, it's not a straight line, on your plan, it should show it on your plan as a bold line, a bold black line.
Yeah, he's
solid.
pointing to it with a mouse right now.
Yeah, it's,
I don't think it's
it's not,
labeled.
it's not a straight line.
Nope.
Definitely not a straight line.
so what's the mean high water? Oh, it's on that.
I think it's,
Down here.
so what is, it's this distance. It's this black line.
It's that one?
Which isn't. but,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
Well, it's on the
it'd be
key.
this
Right.
distance, which is difficult to even tell. what
To
that
tell
is.
what it is, yeah.
So I guess what is the distance from the mean?
Mean high?
Yeah, and I think one of the comments I had on this, looking at this plan too, plan is confusing. And all the lines are continuous, like solid lines, and very few are labeled. Especially the mean high I don't believe it's labeled unless.
Yeah, there's a legend on the right, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the thickness of the line is
Yeah.
pretty hard to,
Right, discern.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it looks exactly like the property line. So, but what is the distance, I guess, that's something that we need to clarify, is what the distance from
Mean
the
high
mean
water
high water,
Yes.
to,
yeah, to the end of the.
We can get you an approximate right now,
Yeah. And I don't know,
Yeah?
right here.
I would prefer, the cross-section is incredibly difficult to discern from like a scale standpoint. There's no horizontal scaling.
It's just a bigger portion, or looked at the time.
So,
Eighty-five. So it's approximately, from mean high, is approximately 85.
okay.
I have another question. So you plan to remove the float in the winter or keep it there?
Yeah, I think that's required of me, correct?
Okay, I just didn't know what your plans were.
Stored above mean high water after the salt marsh goes dormant, I think is what you folks require.
Yeah.
I think I addressed that somewhere in here. but-
I believe we require it to be removed entirely from the salt marsh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Whatever bylaw number that was, I have that in there.
Yeah.
is the location staked yet?
Not yet. Just trying to coordinate with the master. He wanted me to talk to you guys first.
Okay. Craig, do you have any, or any other commissioners have any
No, I do.
further questions?
I do believe that a variance request is needed from 505, 304.1E1.
Yeah, and it needs to be recalculated too.
Okay.
And do you know where the dredge material will go?
Not offhand, we haven't determined that.
One thing I'm regarding that, I guess it's something for you guys to provide, on the straight line between the lot's waterfront corners. That's the extension of the lot, or is it where the lot intersects the mean high water?
I think it's where the lot intersects the mean high water, but it's a pretty straight line on the lot, and if it's 50 feet, you're still a little long back here.
Okay. Yeah, if you, that could just be
Okay.
provided
Yeah.
on that.
So are you wondering if it's along the contour of the line for mean high?
No, the reg is clear, it's a straight line.
Okay, yeah.
I guess this one, this specific example is a little funky.
Sure, yeah.
Because the mean high water cuts back so deeply into the property.
Yeah,
Take the midpoint, or,
I think, yeah, we need to,
Because it's, if you measured this way,
right,
of where the mean high intersects the property line on both corners,
yeah,
that'd be a different interpretation of,
The
yeah.
location of mean high water is delineated on the cross-section at 4.3.
no, I understand that.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
I was,
Just to help you all keep moving, would it be acceptable to you if between now and the continued hearing date, the two people in front of you conferred with your administrator and made sure that the revised plan reflected exactly what the measurements and redefined lines look like, and then we can develop the text for the variance request based on that?
yeah, I think that'd be,
Yeah.
I don't think this plan, we could make really a determination, just because there's a couple things that are unclear. So,
We have to
yeah.
continue anyway.
Yeah.
Is outdated. Tell them that.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Hold on one sec,
Just muted them.
we're still discussing with the applicant. I will open the hearing to the public once the commission is finished. So are there any other commission comments, questions? I think what we've heard is the NOI needs to be updated regarding the area under the ocean as well as the riverfront area that Corey brought up.
so you want that to reflect the area under the float
Yep.
as well?
I think the surface area of land under ocean needs to be addressed, even though you're
Dredged.
including it with the.
You want the dredged area?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because in my eyes, that's impacted area under.
Agree.
Right? And then I think we need a clarification on the plan, with a revised plan that Mike can work with you on, showing those calculations and dimensions. Anyone else have any? I think that was pretty much it, right?
Did you guys say you were going to do a site visit also, or
I'm
we
gonna
have-
open, I'm gonna open it up to the public, but yeah, we will
first?
be
Okay.
doing that as well. So with that, is there anyone on Zoom or in the public that would like to make a comment or question on this application? And if so, please,
Yes,
do you mind identifying yourself?
yes, my name is Fred Sweeney. I live at 119 Marginal Street. We own the property in the marsh abutting the applicant. So a couple of just questions. The pier on this plan looks to be 10 feet back, is that correct?
The pier walkway is proposed 10 feet from the property line, yes.
Okay. And then the gangway and the floating dock, I see the arrow coming out. It does not cross our property, i.e. impacting our access to the water. Not that there's access, but you're not crossing that property line. Is that correct?
Based on the plan that's been presented, the property, all the work is proposed within the limits of their property.
Okay.
What about the plan? It's outdated. It's not stamped current.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. There, any other questions or comments? I saw a gentleman in the audience. Do you mind just coming up to the podium?
Right over there.
Over there, you can,
Hi, good evening. Walter Graney, 95 Old Bond Path, Marshfield, Mass. I was a member of the Conservation Commission for 5 years, and I've done real estate development in town. I was just curious, will the applicant need to file another notice of intent if there's going to be substantial plans to what's been filed, changes to what's been filed? You're looking for more information on the plans, location of the dock, and perhaps a variance. I'm wondering if the initial notification of the public is sufficient.
May I speak to that, or do you prefer I wait?
If you don't mind waiting, I'd like
Of
to
course.
discuss it with the commission first. If you have any other questions, do you want?
No, I don't.
Okay. In my eyes, Mike, I didn't see the public notice for this. did it mention relief was requested from the side yard anyway?
Yes.
I would have to, I don't have the legal ad in front of me right
Okay.
now, but I would have to reference
Yes,
that.
it did.
Okay, thank you. I don't think the intent of public notification changes too drastically, especially when relief is already requested, in my eyes.
I've never had a situation where a separate NOI was filed because we said, oh, we need a variance.
Right.
Once a hearing is open, it's my understanding that
Amendments can be made.
amendments are made and,
Yeah. I will say, when the NOI is updated, it does need to be sent to the DEP. And I think the filing fees probably need to be adjusted as well. But I don't think, otherwise for that, Mike, am I speaking?
I think we should look into this, though, because I think if they're requesting an additional variance, that might impact a butter notice.
Okay.
I think we should confirm that.
Okay.
You want to confirm that with?
Yeah, we'll have to confirm that with town council.
with town council.
Okay.
Could I ask one?
Actually, I hope you don't mind if I also speak with town council. In my experience, which is 35 years, doing this sort of thing as former counsel to Governor Weld on environmental affairs and in private practice, the DEP policy with respect to, not speaking to yours, but DEP's policy with respect to re-notification is it's supposed to be for substantial plan changes. And this plan is not changing the project, it's changing the annotations and your local bylaws desire for a variance if there's a length change. It's not a change in the project itself, no environmental changes. So I'd be happy to do probably whatever you all think is necessary, but normally one doesn't re-notify for this.
Okay. Mike, do you mind just
Just run
coordinating
it
with town
by
council?
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I would think that this is correct,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
let's just confirm it with him.
Perfect.
May I ask who is your counsel?
Bob Galvin.
Thank you.
Excuse me, but I'm trying to understand. Wouldn't it be simpler just to re-notify?
It might happen, but we need to know which way it's going to, excuse me, may I answer?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. It might happen, re-notification is just an administrative thing, but I don't like to have it be declared as a requirement if it's not, and it may happen anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree, if it's not necessary. But we will get confirmation
you.
on that. Thank you.
Seems simpler.
Okay.
Can I just ask one more
Fred
question?
Sweeney, could I ask one more question?
Sure.
Yeah, go.
Just, could somebody explain to me in pretty plain terms, specifically, what is the variance being requested?
So the relief requested currently is, the pier is proposed 10 feet from the side property line, which I believe is the property line adjoining your property.
Correct.
And I believe our regulations require it to be 25 feet from the
Okay.
side property line. And then there was a discussion during the hearing regarding potentially another variance in regards to the length of the pier extending into the mean high water, which is going to be confirmed through recalculations and understanding of that definition.
Okay, so 10 feet, but nothing other than that.
Not to my, I don't think the T is a regulation, it's more of a request.
No, we just have a square footage.
Yeah. So no, I
Yeah, the
don't,
T would probably encroach by about 2 or 3 feet, but, okay, thank you.
Please allow me, if you don't mind, Commissioners. Mr. Sweeney, the third thing that the gentleman referenced as the hearing officer is the discussion about the variance is not just the off from your property line. It's that there's some uncertainty about where their bylaw about the length of the pier is supposed to be, given the fact that the mean high water line is an oddball curved thing. So we have to get accurate, the calculation of just exactly how long is the relationship between Mr. Bono's waterfront line and the extended walkway. And then they're saying probably we have to ask for a variance on that also, but they don't know how much.
But that does not cross my property line.
It does not, sir. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't
Okay.
left with a misunderstanding.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the public or on Zoom? Hearing none. Corey, do you have another?
Yes, I had one.
Okay. Please identify yourself.
Yep, I'm Harry Klebanoff, 52 Assumption Road, Marshfield. So, my question, I was at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting back in September of 2024, and one of the things Attorney Galvin said at that meeting was it was important to make sure that a project of this scope wasn't going to have a detrimental effect on the neighborhood. He probably was concerned about the neighborhood being the people that live around there, and I think it's important from several perspectives. One is that consultations with Leslie Fields from Woods Hole and other people that have worked with the town have said that the biggest asset we have in defending against coastal flooding and flooding from rainfall are the salt marshes. And that there's 100% chance that within the next couple of years, if something is flooded, it's going to flood again. And Green Harbor and Grant Rock are certainly considered at risk. So I have a big concern about the integrity of the wetlands, given the scope of this project. Again, from several perspectives. The impact on the wetlands of the digging, the dredging, certainly is going to have an impact on not just releasing a lot of metals and DDT that are likely stored in the sediment. Most people accept around here that all the spraying in the 60s and 70s ended up in the sediment. That can easily be checked. There's experts in New York, Dorothy Petit, who works for Columbia, and Leslie Fields, who certainly could ascertain whether those chemicals are going to be released. The Department of Marine Fisheries said that even walking in some of the marshes, let alone the dredging and digging that something like this would do, would be likely to release those chemicals. So I think the existence of them is clear, and the impact of releasing them on marine life and also on people with that extent of a project is striking for me. And the other piece is that the importance of sunlight for the seagrass and the eelgrass underneath is likely to be impacted, and that increases the acid in the seawater and changes the whole marine perspective and reduces the sea level, not the sea level, reduces the seagrass. So I guess I just am saying that I have concerns, and there was a 2-year study that was just completed by the North-South River Associates and Coastal Zone Management, and they had similar concerns and prioritized the Green Harbor marshes as something that needed to be restored and protected. And again, my concern about the scope of a project like this, the digging and the shade and the changes to the wetlands, is that it very much could impact in a very negative way the wetlands, the sea life, and ultimately the people that live around this who depend on the marshes, whether they know it or not, to be protected from flooding. So that's my piece.
Thank you.
May I respond?
Sure, I don't know if a response is necessary, but yeah, sure.
I'm grateful. I hear this surprisingly frequently, so I'd like to address it. Mr. Klemenoff, I very much appreciate your attentiveness because you're absolutely right about the importance of the salt marsh for flood protection and for the integrity of the salt marsh itself and the species. What people don't realize, though, is that something like this with a structured access to the deeper water actually protects the salt marsh better. And that's because people in Massachusetts have the right to access the waterway from their property and to come back to their property. And by having structured access where you disturb it once, and somewhat minimally, frankly, because it's only got a few pilings, and then a very modest, less than 100 cubic feet of dredging, that means when vessels and people come in and out, they are using that and not mucking through the salt marsh to get out to deeper water. That's it. It's better for the salt marsh to put this in once and be done than to have people traipsing around.
Can I respond to that?
I don't,
As you wish, yeah.
I don't think we need to, the back and forth truthfully.
Well.
But I think I think
Okay,
both
I'm
of your points are well taken from the commission. And I think it's, our regulations are pretty clear, that it's the burden of the applicant to prove, that a variance, granting a variance in accordance with our regulations is convincing and doesn't have the detriment that Mr. Klebanoff mentioned. So I think that's something that we're going to consider with the variance request when it is formally submitted.
Okay, I understand. I'll reread your, if you have them, performance standards.
Yeah,
And
it's-
if not, we'll certainly supplement on this issue.
Yeah, it's Article 6. So 505-106.18 is variances, and that outlines kind of what's required for a variance request.
But what I meant was, I didn't think you had performance standards with respect to the resource area on this point. You had the length issue, but not why environmentally.
It's outlined in the variance
Okay.
section.
Thank you very much. I'll take care of it.
Okay. And then Corey, you had,
Yeah, I was just
Another
wondering if you could show on the plan the location of where you are proposing to put materials. I guess you're probably going to stockpile some materials, so if you could show that on the plan. And also, how many piles are you driving?
That's on, if you look down at the bottom, 60 for the walkway and 12 for the platform.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
I didn't see that 60 for, so I guess how big are the piles?
I think that's also on there.
6 and 10.
6 and 10.
Okay.
No, that doesn't show it, Corey. There's a table right on
Oh.
top of the,
On the bottom right.
Okay. 6 inch. Okay.
Oh, and I apologize. I meant to say also, there's no eelgrass, only salt marsh.
So I was just wondering if the size of the proposed alteration of the salt marsh is noted as 29.14. I guess I just didn't know if that was accurate with the number of pilings.
I believe so,
Okay.
with the just surface area of them.
If I may.
Yeah.
Another thing I was just thinking of, off of Corey's point there, was that the area of vegetation disturbance isn't noted. I'm sure at least there's going to be some sort of vegetation disturbance in this area where, this deck crosses over that salt marsh boundary. We, according to our regulations, we need a replication area of any disturbed vegetation, so that should probably be noted on a revised site plan as well.
Is that at the discretion of the committee? The restoration?
It's in our regulations. as in
It
our
was
dock
put into the
regulations.
submission, sir. I'm sorry, Michael, I don't remember your last name, but it's in the submission that will be done because it says it's at the discretion of the committee and it will be the commission. And it will be done, if that's what you
Okay.
ordered.
I was just saying that it would be useful to have this on the site plan.
Yeah, I echo that, Mike. If that's something that can be labeled on the site plan.
Mike, is
or
it okay if I confer with you before the next meeting, just to get that number?
Yeah, it should be, it should be fairly easy to figure out if you have a scale. Yeah, but I can certainly assist.
Thank you.
Okay. Corey, do you have any?
Hi, could I ask one question?
There's actually a gentleman in the audience that had his hand up, so I'm gonna take
Okay,
him.
no problem.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Walter Graney, is the restoration has to be done at a 2-to-1 air replacement?
Maybe 4-to-1.
I believe it's 4-to-1.
I think it's a 4-to-1 ratio.
4-to-1.
4-to-1, okay.
So for every square foot disturbed, 4 square feet restored.
Okay,
Yep.
and then that would have a operation and maintenance plan going forward that make sure that the restoration took place? Like, for example, if you do a lot of restoration and it doesn't survive a growing season,
Right.
have you really accomplished anything?
I think we would have that conditioned in our.
We would have a 3-year monitoring
Yeah.
plan.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then. Was that a hand- oh, and then there was if there's another question on Zoom, we'll take that.
Mrs. Sweeney, I
Mrs.
think.
Sweeney? I think you're muted if.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Laurie Sweeney from 119 Marginal Street, the abutter at Zero Carswell on the Marsh. I just had a couple of questions. On the dredging project, I was using for my reference the Gray project, which was at the dead-end part of Bay Avenue. And I was just curious how they came up with the footage and specifically the 90 cubic feet. And also Marine and Fisheries, have they chimed in on any restrictions? And I think my husband asked the other questions and that was fine about the property line, but my other point is just a point of housekeeping is the plans submitted this evening are not recently dated. If this is a brand-new project, they are stamped from the surveyor from 2024, as well as the engineer, so they're really not effective for this meeting.
Yeah, and we're getting, as part of what we requested, an updated plan will be,
Okay.
is required, so that will be updated in the next
All right,
round.
it's just hard, for us looking at it, and, we would like to see the property staked.
And that's
I
part
know
of.
that was asked previously, but this is a brand-new
Yep.
question, because I think that would make things far more clear. And I think we would like to know about the mitigation, not just for the vegetation, but also for marine life.
Yeah, so let me go through your questions. So it was 90 cubic yards, so that's probably where the confusion comes. There's 27 cubic feet in a cubic yard, so.
Right.
That's where that comes from. So it's a 1,200 square foot area.
But that's what I'm saying, how did he come up with the 1,200 square feet?
It's delineated on the plan. They have a delineated triangle shape that is.
No, I see that, but did somebody actually go out and, an environmental engineer and scope that, is what I'm asking?
So I think I don't want to speak for the applicant, but they have an existing conditions survey and utilized it via computer software to identify the area. It wasn't done in the field.
Yeah, I think it has to be a field survey. I'm not opposed to anybody building anything as long as it's done correctly.
Yeah, and that's the goal of what we're here tonight for. And this survey is stamped by a licensed surveyor. It was a in-the-field survey.
But it's 2 years old, so it's really moot at this point.
Yep.
It was updated.
It really shouldn't even come to a meeting, truthfully.
No.
It's a requirement, standard requirement.
So I don't think there's a requirement specific to when a
It
survey
is for a new plan. It is,
I would
for a
like,
brand new plan, it has to be certified by an engineer and a
That's-
surveyor.
So it is.
Changed.
That is.
I just muted Ms. Sweeney. I'm not going to argue in a public forum with people.
Yeah.
But there is this site plan is acceptable. The only real stipulation on the dates for a site plan, as far as our commission is concerned, is that the wetland line is less than 3 years old.
Right.
This was signed and stamped within the last 3 years. I don't see an immediate issue with this. Revisions will be made to the site plan.
Yep, and I agree, Mike. And I think that was, is that anything else I needed to answer there?
Can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
There was a survey conducted in the,
I figured so.
it was done by drone with LiDAR, so we have accurate elevations of that area that we're going to dredge.
Right.
And we were able to make those calculations.
Right. So I think with the revisions that are needed, a revised plan is going to be required, so.
No question.
With that, Mike, do we want to schedule the dock walk, or how does scheduling that?
We would have to schedule it with the harbor master. According to our dock walk standards, it has to be done with a representative of the Conservation Commission, whether it's the hearing officer, myself, et cetera, and the harbor master.
I have no
At
issue.
0 tide. So
Okay.
it has to be like dead low tide.
Okay, I have no issue doing that with you.
Perfect.
When the time comes. With that, I'd like to make a motion to continue this public hearing until,
We can tentatively schedule it to the next meeting, April 1st. That might be a
Bless
little
you.
too soon, but that's our next available meeting.
what would you guys, what was the applicant, April? Do you think you'll be able to resubmit things in that time, or should we go?
Yeah, I'll get it done.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to April 1st. Can I have a second?
Please be aware it's Passover in case that matters to any of you that are serving.
It's my birthday, too.
And April Fool's Day.
I don't.
I am not
sure.
objecting, I am noting.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure it is applicable, or,
I know some boards are not meeting on April 1st because of Passover.
Are we?
So, I mean, we can, but if you would be amenable, what is the next meeting? The 15th? And maybe then we could have gotten the dock walk.
Just as soon as you're able to. I'm able to.
So,
I'm working with you guys.
April 15th?
Yeah.
That's good.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll
We'll go to
change
April
that.
15th.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for 12 Careswell Street to April 15th. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
The weather's not going to be good this week.
Okay. Now we have three actually, let's go to the first business item and the Recreational Trails Committee, so we don't have to hold you up any longer.
Hi, Jeff Wilson, 26 Norwell Road. I think Mark might be online too, Mark Scala.
Sorry, let me just get that up for you there, Jeff. 1 second.
How many trees you got down up there?
I probably got 80 hours in there last week just clearing. I have a ninja rake, it's real light, and I just flick the branches, but we cleared a lot of trees. There was some strange,
Yeah.
the damage was, I never bent so many pine trees back to the small pines, you just 45 them and then go back up, they're in the trail like this. Most of them you can push back, a couple snapped, you had to cut those, but most of them you just push right back. I'm like, we need a 2x4, and just bend them back.
And
Yeah, because of caving in the trail. But it's in pretty good shape. We got it open. There's still a few more deadfall, but we got like 95% of the trail open. So the trail we're looking at is the yellow trail. That was a trail that was closed down because it went down into the wetlands. So the original trail went had two, like, it looked like an M. It went down, for that black marker, so it went down in that area and then did another M into the wet area. So Mark walked it, and we brought it out of the wet area. We walked it with Mike, and we brought it out of the wet area. And so we're looking to get this open. That, the other trail, where part of the old Race in Pink is going through the center, there's a lot of traffic on that trail, foot traffic, horse traffic. So this was to divert, like, biking off of that. And the trail, when me and Mike walked it, it was pretty, some of it is established, it had deadfall, there was no bikes or horses on it. We did see in the snow, there was someone walks out there with a dog. It might be a budding house or something that comes in. That's the only thing we noticed out there. But we were able to pull the trail up off the wetland. And that, it.
So the yellow line
Correct, and
is-
it cuts through an established trail already, a piece of it, to get it out of the wetlands.
To get it out.
Existing trail. It's been established for years. And then when I was looking to bring it across, we have a lot of, the trail's only gonna be like no more than 30 inches, roughly. Not the existing, but the one that crosses over in that area there. So like the boys and girls club, they're always asking where can we take the kids? A lot of the kids only have a single gear, so they're trying to keep them flat. In that area there is like a perfect pine grove. It's kind of open. There ain't too many trees, so you could build some little track in there for them. And that's what that's about. And try to
So you
separate.
went up
That's a
there, Mike.
traffic area for foot and horse, so it would just keep everyone a little separated.
Yes, I walked the area with Mark Scala and Jeff, and it's clearly an older trail. People still use it. There's a fair amount of foot traffic on it, but I think making the revisions that Jeff is talking about and ultimately getting that foot traffic out of our resource areas will be beneficial to that property and ultimately the degradation of any wetlands in that area.
I mean, I have no problem. I'm not personally familiar. Bert, I know you know the area.
Yeah, so that yellow one, that was that illegal path? that
Correct,
was
yeah,
built?
and it went down into the wetlands pretty deep. It
Right.
was like, we that line going across the top at the angle,
So that.
right where that black line went, that's two
so
of,
that-
it was like an
that
M,
kind of-
another one that went in.
That got back into use and
Foot traffic's on it, I think it's
Yeah.
butters that come in. But there's still like deadfall on it, so they're walking over it, but I think it's just a few people using it, because it still seemed pretty established, didn't it? for the
Yeah,
most
it
part?
seemed like it was well pat, but like Jeff was saying, there's deadfall over it. Nobody's been really
Yeah.
maintaining it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been no bikes or indication of bike or a horse or anything.
Well, I have no issues. Anybody else have any comment?
No, I think Jeff is working in the right direction. You seem to be trying to keep up.
I was out there 5.5 hours today. I walked
Yeah.
probably 6 miles of trail I cleared with the little, just flicking
Yeah.
branches.
Yeah,
But you're basically keeping about the same number of trails. You're just reconfiguring them
Right,
as you
right.
get washout and damage, so it's,
Right, because that main trail is pretty washed out, and a lot of people come out with dogs. It'd be great to separate the people.
well, I think, I agree, you're moving in the right direction. So, I move to how should I word this, let Jeff.
Hey, we got to walk that before the snow.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
It's
gee.
been a little while now.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh.
We walked that right, but I think it was like a week or two before the snow.
Yeah, it was right before that big snowstorm.
Okay, I move to approve the proposed improvements to several older trails on Carolina Hill to get them back more than 100 feet from the nearest wetlands. May I have a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Keep up the good work.
I learned about pears.
Just what you want it to
Don't worry, I
know.
won't be building one.
You know.
All right, have a great night.
Good night.
Thanks, Jeff.
And B2 is Ice House Lane, hazard tree removal and vine removal. Is anyone here for that?
I don't see anybody online here. Let me pull up I have some pictures.
So this is the homeowner who,
This was adjacent to the homeowner that we had in under a vegetation restoration plan.
restoration, right.
However, I did make a comment in my commission notes because this homeowner is proposing the exact same scope of work that the adjacent neighbor did, who then went in and added
And
3
went
fills.
exceed it.
Yeah, loamed and seeded it and added a sprinkler system, et cetera. For some reason, this isn't loading right now. I don't think I have the best internet access today for some reason. But yeah, he would like to control 2 nuisance or like hazardous trees on the property. One is probably about 6 or 7 feet. It just overhangs this access to get to his shed. And then the other one is a larger tree that overhangs his shed itself. And there are a lot of vines that grow in this area, this being the subject tree over the shed. And then this is, it's more of a shrub really, but it does have a fair amount of woody, sizable branches that would certainly be a concern if they fell over on you.
Okay, well, you need to make it very clear.
Yeah.
And I would go so far as to say you want to be notified when the work is finished so that you can inspect it.
Okay.
So I move to allow 10 Ice House Lane to remove 2 trees and invasive vines as a de minimis activity, but I want an inspection after the fact.
Perfect.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 3 continuations. SE 423173, 39th Road has requested to continue to April 15th. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. SE 423167, 121 Grandview Avenue has requested moving to 415. I move to approve. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And SE 423164, 50 Johnson Terrace has requested move to April 1st. I move to grant that. A second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, actually, that Ice House Lane requested coming in on 4/1.
Oh, interesting.
I just saw that I made a note
I think
there.
that was that 15 Iowa?
Oh, maybe, oh, okay, correct, never mind.
Yes, Iowa.
Yeah, it is
Street's gonna
15
come
Iowa,
forward.
thank you, I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, SE 423078, 83 Ocean Street, they are requesting a 3-year extension. I move to issue that extension, may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And SE 423100, 15 Iowa Street, is going to come in on 4/1 to discuss violations. I don't even think that needs a vote. We can,
That doesn't need a vote.
yeah, we'll just do that again. All right, that concludes our business. I move to close the Town of Marshfield Conservation Commission for Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we are adjourned.